Have you ever won an argument, but still walked away feeling like you didn't actually get to the truth? Well, today we're going to explore an ancient thinking tool that completely flips the script. It's not about winning at all, it's about understanding. And it all starts with the art of the question.
I mean, really think about it for a second. Is it ever okay to lie? What if it's to save someone's life? Or, just to spare their feelings? All of a sudden, that simple question isn't so simple anymore, is it?
And that feeling right there, that uncertainty, that sudden urge to dig a little deeper, that is the entire point. This one question is the gateway to a way of thinking that has literally shaped our world for over 2,000 years.
Okay, so before we get into the whole history of it, let's just start with the process itself. Because this whole method isn't about memorizing who said what, it's about you actively discovering ideas for yourself.
And this is a really fundamental shift. It's about moving away from needing to have all the answers and toward asking better questions. We go from just defending our own position to actually exploring it, together.
The main tool for all of this is dialogue. But listen, this is not about winning a debate. You've got to think of it more like a collaborative search party. By questioning and answering, we're not just testing their beliefs, we're testing our own, all in the hope of getting just a little bit closer to the truth.
So, where in the world did this revolutionary idea come from? Well, it wasn't from some quiet, dusty library or a university. No, it came from the noisy, bustling heart of ancient Athens. So meet Socrates. Born around 470 BCE, this guy never wrote a single book. Instead, he just spent his days hanging out in the agora, the public marketplace, and talking to people. He'd ask generals about courage, politicians about justice. But as you can imagine, this constant questioning of authority, well, it eventually got him into some very serious trouble, and it led to his execution.
Now, Socrates had this brilliant metaphor for what he did. He never ever claimed to be the expert. Instead, he saw himself as a midwife of ideas. See, he believed the truth was already inside a person, and his job was just to help them bring it out into the world through careful questioning. He wasn't giving a lecture. He was helping you make your own discovery.
So, what does this actually look like in practice? Let's break down the Socratic Method. It's a process that seems incredibly simple on the surface, but its results are just, wow, they're powerful.
It works kind of like this. First, you start with a big, fundamental question, something like, what is justice? Then someone offers a confident, common-sense answer. Oh, that's easy. Justice is giving people what they deserve. Then comes the challenge. Socrates might ask, okay, but what if a person deserves harm? Is it truly just to harm someone? And boom, that's the moment of insight. The original answer is suddenly revealed to be incomplete, and it forces everyone to dig for a deeper, more refined understanding.
And this is the part that feels so strange to us. The conversation often just ends, without a perfect final answer. See, the victory here isn't about finding a solution. It's about realizing just how complex the problem really is. The goal is clarity, not certainty.
Now, I know this might all seem like ancient history, but believe me, this 2,400-year-old method is alive and well, and it's shaping some of the most important fields in our modern world.
Teachers use it to get students to stop just memorizing facts and to actually start thinking for themselves. Lawyers use it in cross-examinations to poke holes in a witness's testimony. And, maybe most powerfully of all, therapists use it to help patients deconstruct their own harmful beliefs.
Let's dive into that therapy example for a second. Imagine a patient comes in with this really powerful, painful belief that they see as a simple fact. I'm a failure because I lost my job.
A Socratic therapist wouldn't argue with that. They wouldn't say, no, you're not. They'd just start with a simple, clarifying question like this one. Notice what's happening. It doesn't challenge the job loss. It challenges the very definition of failure, forcing the patient to really examine a word they've been using as a weapon against themselves.
Next, the therapist might ask something like this. And this question is just brilliant because it takes this one single negative event and puts it in the context of an entire life. It gently pushes back on the idea that one setback can define absolutely everything.
And then finally, they get to the absolute core of it all. This question drives a wedge between an external event, like losing a job, and a person's fundamental internal worth. By just asking, not telling, the therapist empowers the patient to see the flaws in their own painful logic.
So as we've seen, this method has incredible power. But, that power also comes with a little bit of peril. It's not always a comfortable experience.
The power is obvious.
right? It exposes the contradictions in our own thinking, it encourages a little humility, and it allows knowledge to be created together. But the peril is just as real. Having your deepest beliefs challenged can feel like a personal attack. It can create enemies. And let's be honest, it can be frustrating when there's no neat and tidy conclusion.
And let's not forget, this isn't just some theoretical danger. The man who perfected this method paid the ultimate price for it. It's a pretty stark reminder that relentlessly questioning the powers that be is a risky, risky business.
So why do it? Why take that risk? Well, because the rewards are profound. It's all based on the idea that true wisdom doesn't start with what we know. It starts when we admit what we don't know. It's about believing that truth isn't just handed down to us, but it's something we have to unearth together.
And that really is the powerful legacy of the Socratic dialogue. It's a call to action, to shift from being passive receivers of information to becoming active participants in the search for truth. Knowledge isn't just something we consume, it's something we build.
Which leaves us with one last question for you to think about. Do you think conversation, this whole process of questioning and challenging each other, is a better path to truth than just sitting and thinking things through on your own? What do you think?